Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and its valuation against the US dollar. And the thesis, we're going to be exploring a theory on Bitcoin potentially dropping down to the 20-week moving average now. If you do like this video and the other videos that I make on this channel, be sure to hit the like button down below and also consider subscribing. So I'm just going to get rid of the ETH BTC Poloniex chart at the bottom there, and we're just going to look at Bitcoin. Now this video isn't necessarily I don't want it to scare people, but I want it to be informative to show all the different kinds of possibilities that Bitcoin can do, and it's hard to catch a moving train, which is what I would attribute a bull run, and theoretically buying at the top. It's hard to catch a train. It's hard to get a good position, but at the same time, uh, at least knowing that it's coming or seeing that it's coming, in my mind, fares a little bit better. And I think situations like these, where you look at all the different possibilities, makes you more aware of current market trends, short-term market trends, and overall long-term market trends, which will in the end give you better decisions on how to react accordingly, um, to price history and to price action. So right now, Bitcoin is down roughly 2% for the day. Nothing terrible, but we did get rejected, wicked down all the way from $35,000 back down to where we started at around 32.2. And for today, we are coming back down. We have went as low as 31,137, and currently right now we're at 31.6. What we're what we're looking to be forming here is a descending triangle. So we have lower and lower highs and more or less consistent lows, right? We wick down or close at least above that line there. And so, when we look at technical analysis, traditional TA, this is supposed to drop. With that said, if this is one scenario of Bitcoin dropping further, it's already dropped below the 20-day moving average. We've seen in the past that if it does hold, then we can see a quick turnaround. However, right now we have broken it. This is not to be discouraged, because we also had instances where we chopped. Where if you look back at one of my videos, it was here where we consistently chopped through the 20-day moving average, ultimately coming back up, and ultimately, after a few more weeks and months of chopping, we went on a run. So, going below the 20-day moving average isn't a indicator, I would say, of Bitcoin coming straight down. This descending triangle could be one. We simply don't know yet. The next thing to note is, well, where are we in terms of the 20-week moving average? Well, you know, congratulations to the 20-week moving average. We're above $20,000. So this is our essentially our strongest line of defense, I would say, in holding and maintaining the bull run. So with that said, how far are we? Well, a drop from here, more or less speaking, is about a 35% drop. This can change. If it drops a little and then it drops somewhere in March, for example, then it's going to be a lot higher than it was today, and therefore the drop is going to be less. However, if it were to drop this week, then yes, it would be a 35% drop. And a 30% drop from here, folks, is not that hard to fathom, at least for me. We've seen it before. We've seen it happen in the past, in the 2016-2017 cycle, and also in the 2013 cycle, 2013-2014 cycle. We've seen drops like that happen. So with that said, a 35% drop is not off the table. It can happen. We might be in the midst of that happening. So what do we do in preparation of it? Well, for me, I can tell you what I'm doing. I'm not trading. I'm not trading Bitcoin. I'm not buying Bitcoin at these levels, nor was I buying Bitcoin when it was when you could say the momentum was still high at 42. And currently right now we see a drop of what 16 17%. Still not buying. I will buy, and I will be one of the bulls here. I will be the ones buy. I will be the one buying at the 20-week moving average. It is extremely risky. I would argue probably just as risky as here, but I want to maintain the bull market. I want to be a part of it. So I will be buying here. Not a lot, but I will be participating in accumulating more Bitcoin there. Potentially, I will even try a low leverage long at the 20-week moving average. I was one to do it down here, and I rode this wave all the way up, not to the very top. I think I liquidated at around 28.30. So not at the very top, but a pretty decent long nonetheless. So with that said, 35% drop is not off the table. Uh, are, ask yourself, are you going to be the one? First, ask yourself, are you able to stomach a 35%, a 40% loss, I think, from the top of the candle, 45% loss down? Are you able to stomach that? And second, are you going to be buying more? I can't answer that for you. You have to answer that yourself. Secondly, you must be asking, well, aren't we in an altcoin cycle? Yes, we are. I mean, look at Uniswap right now. Uniswap's up 11%. Everything else is kind of bleeding down, but that shouldn't be taken off from the performance of the last 4 weeks from Ethereum, okay, or the last 3 weeks of Chainlink. All coins are moving, um, and I don't think that this drop was going to affect altcoins in the slightest, at least in the weekly sense. And I'll let you show. I'll show you what I mean. So we'll bring back Ethereum, Bitcoin. It's not what I wanted to do. Wanted a new panel. There we go. So here we are on the weekly chart. You can even see it here. I can give you the most recent example of why that might not be the case. Bitcoin dropped last week 10%. Okay, 10%, and Ethereum gained 25. The previous week, Bitcoin bled 6%. Ethereum gained on Bitcoin 4.5%. So I'm here to tell you that even during runs like what Ethereum's on, even if Bitcoin does drop, Ethereum at this point does not seem phased. And I'll show you other instances of this happening. So here we are. We are at 1400 at the lows of 1,000. This is when, for context, this is when Bitcoin was breaking its prior all-time high. Bitcoin dropped 17% on the week of March 13, 2017, and we saw Ethereum gain against Bitcoin 122%. The next week is a gain of 23%, and Bitcoin bled 6.5. Folks, these are instances of these happening. Um, let's see here. If I extend it, no, it's going to be hard to read because the candle, March 13th candle is so big. Okay, so here's another instance. The week of January 2nd, Bitcoin bled 8, almost 9%. Ethereum gained 37. So major bleeds like these over a span of weeks, right, is nothing to be concerned about. This drop here was a 33% drop. This drop here, March of 2017, was a drop of 30%. All right. These things happen. Drops like these happen. And when we're in a bull market, if we are in a bull market, and I would argue we are, and when we're in an altcoin cycle, this is when we see a temporary, it doesn't last forever, but a temporary decoupling of the reactions of Bitcoin and Ethereum. And this is one theory that we're potentially seeing a temporary decoupling. So in regular markets of crypto, when Bitcoin drops significantly, we also see Ethereum react fairly swiftly to the downside. It bleeds more than Bitcoin. However, in times of like I would argue we potentially are right now, when Ethereum's gaining against Bitcoin already, and we see Bitcoin bleed continually, and we see a potentially a 20% down week, and overall a 40% down span of few weeks. Look at Ethereum, and there potentially could be a chance of Ethereum gaining on Bitcoin. Now, this is this all hinges on Bitcoin holding the 20-week moving average, which is exactly why I would say that the 20-week is everything, or at least mostly everything. I think uh, it needs to hold. Or you can make the argument of in 2013 we didn't hold, and we really didn't. This is the one example that is shown where the 20-week didn't hold and we still continued up. I would argue this is when Bitcoin was 2, 3 years old. Okay, volume was very low. Um, and we didn't have, and it was just like a couple months prior, 3 months prior, where the 20-week moving average started to come about. So you're still taking into consideration of these volatility candles of the exchange. So I would argue if this were to happen today, if this were to happen today, then these candles would probably hug the 20-week a little better. That is my belief. I could be extremely wrong. It could very well happen because Bitcoin has a tendency of doing this to go below the 20-week and then still continue to go up and make a newer high. Entirely possible. I don't think it's likely. I think the 20-week has shown that it is extremely important, even in today's context. And because of that, I will be buying at the 20-week moving average. And this is just an example of a theory or a possibility of a scenario where Bitcoin does continue to bleed. Okay, even sentiment right now is already changing. People are changing from the narrative of this is just a temporary bottom for a newer high to Bitcoin needs to consolidate for a hot minute. And I guarantee in a few more weeks, if this continues, sentiment will change. Is that we're going to be dropping down to 20,000, $15,000. I guarantee that. However, the sentiment is that Bitcoin's going to move sideways. For me, I would love to see a $20,000 Bitcoin again. Um, because I've been selling. I am sitting on, you know, uh, not a considerable amount, but a good chunk of stable coins, and I would love those stable coins to go back into Bitcoin. With that said, we still don't know yet. It's too early to call. If in the coming weeks we see this slowly bleed further, the, making contact with the 20-week becomes more and more of a reality. At the same time, I will be looking at Ethereum like a hawk and see what it is it's going to be doing. Because right now, um, Ethereum is following Bitcoin at the moment, but it's only Tuesday. A lot of things can happen in a week. Um, so we like you can see here, we saw Wix down. Okay, Wix down below when Bitcoin was really bleeding, and when it recovered, but it's still a down week. Ethereum explodes, and we saw this happen. So um, keep an eye on these two coins. If Ethereum is doing well, then I'm fairly confident with my other altcoin holdings. I mean, look at it. Look at Uniswap right now. It's still holding strong at 11% gain for today. Uh, Almost it's at $12. It's pretty wild. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.